scores! Stutzla, one-timer, scores!
Great save made by Gustafsson.
Right here, what an awesome pass through the slot, onto the stick of Batherson.
Kachuk in tight up, let's get going, scores! Brady Kachuk wins it in overtime for Ottawa.
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon and I am your host. I come to you today with some very, very bad news. Unfortunately, one of Ottawa's biggest acquisitions of the offseason, he's out for 5 to 7 weeks. Cam Talbot, the goaltender, is going to be out for 5 to 7 weeks at the very least, or the very most, with an upper body injury. Look, I'm hoping Talbot is closer to 3-4 weeks out. Hopefully he just misses the first month. But the fact it's 5 to 7 weeks means he can maybe even miss some of November, if not all of November, which means he's going to be essentially out, very likely, for the entire first quarter of the season, which is a massive blow. A massive blow for the Ottawa Senators, who desperately need a good start. Look what's happened the last couple of years for Ottawa. Their terrible starts to start the season effectively put them out of the playoff race before the playoff race even begun. So for Ottawa, who desperately needs a good start to stay in the conversation for the playoffs, this is a big blow. But in a corresponding move, the Ottawa Senators have claimed a goaltender, Magnus Hellberg from Seattle, the Kraken, who doesn't have a lot of NHL experience, but has quite a bit of pro experience. So you're getting a goaltender in Magnus Hellberg, who, he's not going to be your starting goaltender, but he can absolutely fill in from time to time for Anton Forsberg when he needs a night off until Cam Talbot is healthy. So I am happy in this corresponding move the Ottawa Senators claimed Magnus Hellberg off of waivers, which, by the way, is exactly how Anton Forsberg became an Ottawa Senator. He was claimed off waivers from Winnipeg. So, hey, you know what? I'm not saying Hellberg is going to be in the next Forsberg. What I'm saying is don't write this guy off just yet, especially since his stats in the KHL, which frankly is the second best hockey league in the world. Many would say that, including myself. The KHL is a tough league to play in, especially as a goaltender. He put up some fantastic numbers. He had a .927 save percentage, a 2 goals against average, 24 shutouts, and 84 wins, and 169 games played in the KHL. Those were some very fantastic numbers. Frankly, all-star numbers, I'm sure, in the KHL. Fantastic numbers. Just to give you some perspective, Igor Shesterkin, the New York Rangers goaltender, had similar numbers to that. I think he had like a .940, .950 save percentage in the KHL. It's not an easy league to play in. So if Shesterkin's getting .940, .950, Hellberg's getting .920, .930, I'm not saying Hellberg is, going to be Igor Shesterkin. What I am saying, though, is Magnus Hellberg performed like an Igor Shesterkin in the KHL. So that kind of shows you how tough of a league it is to play in, and you have to be a very good goalie to put up good numbers. So for Magnus Hellberg, those are solid numbers for sure. He has also played in 5 games in the National Hockey League, most recently with Detroit last year. He has a .281 goals against average in those games and an .869 save percentage. What I would say is this: most of the games he played in those 5 games, most of them were mid-game, either for injury or the goalie was getting blown out. So what I would look at more is the goals against average. It's below 3, which is pretty good. The save percentage, it's not great. But firstly, a team like Detroit's not exactly the best defensively last year. And, when you're being thrown into the game midway through, it's tough to really have a solid save percentage. So don't really read into the save percentage too much. The goals against average is fantastic. And more importantly, his KHL stats are even better. So Magnus Hellberg gives Ottawa an option if Forsberg needs a night off. He can probably give them a chance to win at least. He's not going to give up 6, 7, 8 goals probably. He's going to give you a chance to win. He has some good pro experience. He's 31 years old, so he's certainly a veteran. Look, Anton Forsberg, we saw it last year. This is not the worst case scenario, of course, because Talbot will be back soon. But with Talbot out, Forsberg, we've seen it already when Murray was out last year for long periods of time. Forsberg can absolutely carry the load if needed. So a couple of months is quite a bit. That's a lot of games. But Anton Forsberg has shown it from time and time again, and I'm sure it won't change for this season, that he can absolutely take on that load and carry the team if he needs to. It's also important that Ottawa does not have any back-to-back games until December 2nd, which is when Cam Talbot should absolutely be back. 5 to 7 weeks. The season starts on the 13th. He should at least be back late November, or by the time the back-to-back starts. So luckily for Ottawa, there's not going to be a lot of situations where, Forsberg and Hellberg are going to have to go back-to-back. Last year, Ottawa had was it 9 or 10 back-to-backs? It was insane. They had like 4 or 5 back-to-backs in the first couple months of the season. Luckily for Ottawa, most of the back-to-backs they have this year will be in the later parts of the season, so Talbot will be back for that. So frankly, Hellberg is here just kind of as insurance, just in case, Forsberg gets hurt, God forbid, or just not having the best game, or just needs a break. Hellberg can step in. I also want to mention that this kind of gives an opportunity for Matt Sogard to, get some starts here in the early parts of the season if Hellberg does not perform in the regular season and or the preseason. Sogard has some NHL experience, got into a couple of games last year against Detroit. Looked decent, allowed 3 goals. Maybe he gets a start or 2 with Talbot out. But my point is this. Forsberg, he's your starting goaltender. You don't have to be worried about him performing. He will perform. You just have to be worried about what happens with the backup. But luckily for Ottawa, Talbot should only be out for the quarter of the year, which is a huge blow, but it could have been way worse. Upper body injuries are difficult, so especially for goaltenders. So him only being out for a quarter is tough, but manageable at the very least. And that's all you can ask for when you're talking about injuries, which are so fluky and you can't control. So for Ottawa, Forsberg is going to be the starter. He gives you a chance to win every single night. Hellberg's the backup, very likely than not. He gives you solid pro experience and a reliable goaltender if Forsberg needs a break or needs, to get off the ice for whatever reason. And then, of course, their third goalie, Matt Sogard, who remains the third goalie, maybe even gets a chance to get into a game or two, get some more NHL experience. So the point is this. It's a huge blow for the Ottawa Senators purely on the fact that Cam Talbot and Anton Forsberg together as a tandem gave Ottawa a chance to win every single night. I cannot say the same with Sogard or Hellberg in net with, Forsberg. What I can say is this. It's only for 4 to 6, 7, 8 weeks, so 2 months or so. And if Ottawa can weather the storm here and Forsberg can carry the team, we should be okay. Right now, I'm not expecting to be 750, win percentage. If we could just be around 500, win half of our games minimum, we will be in the playoff competition. We will be in the playoff race come that time after February and March. So right now, just get the wins any way you can. And hopefully Cam Talbot comes back sooner rather than later. Really unfortunate news. I'm sure Talbot is disappointed with his new team. He's out for the first 2 months, and this gives a real good chance for Forsberg to really steal that starting position, claim it as his. Because remember, even if Talbot is back by the end or midway through November, he will need some time to rehab in Belleville and get some practices in. So even if he's back in 4 to 5 weeks, he's still going to need a week or two to get back into game shape. So big loss for the Senators, but luckily Forsberg is still here. He gives us a chance to win, and Hellberg is a solid, backup option. Then Sogard as well provides some solid depth. So Ottawa should be okay. Do not panic. It's not the end of the world purely because the injury is not long term. It's still long term, but not long term. So he will be back soon. And most importantly, there's no back-to-backs until December. So Forsberg, frankly, can start every single game, and he should be just fine. So you know what? It is what it is. Hopefully, I'm praying for you, Cam Talbot. Hopefully, you are going to be just fine very soon. But welcome to Ottawa, Magnus Hellberg. I'm excited to see you play. Look, you have some sick pads. We'll throw it on the screen here. Unfortunately, you can't wear those now as Ottawa has a different logo than the Seattle Kraken. But I am excited to see what you come up with here with Ottawa. But yeah, those are some solid numbers in the KHL, and it gives me some optimism that Ottawa at least has a decent backup to play the occasional game to give Forsberg some rest. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Obviously, this is a big blow, but do you think Ottawa will be okay, or do you think Ottawa's kind of screwed before the season even begins? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as usual, I'll make sure to respond and have conversations with you in the comment section down below. Absolutely love having these debates and conversations with you guys in the comment section. Obviously, through a video, it's not easy to have a conversation. Of course, it's pre-recorded, so having the ability in the comment section to hear your opinions and go back and forth is always fun. So make sure to comment down below. Looking forward to that, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Welcome to Ottawa, Magnus Hellberg. Get better soon, Cam Talbot. I'll see you in the next one. Go Sens, go.